can share it if it's okay for you, by the way.
Yes, yes, yes, sure.
Let me try.
Okay, Arda hocam.
What is Nomad Camp?
Okay, okay, thank you. Göksun hocam will announce, then you can share it for us. Thank you, Arda hocam. Okay, then I'm giving the word to Göksun hocam. Thank you for your understanding. Okay, Göksun hocam.
Okay, thank you very much, Elif hocam. I would like to welcome all the participants to our very first Nomad Campus program at BAU Faculty of Architecture and Design, which will be held online on MS Teams from today until July 22nd. My name is Göksun Akürek Altürk, and I'm a member of the faculty, and I will be moderating today's opening program. So today we have a very rich group of participants from quite different parts of the world, including both Cyprus, Berlin International University of Applied Sciences, Mukogawa Women's University in Japan, and of course Bahçeşehir University in Istanbul. Very briefly, Nomad Campus is a multicultural, multi-stakeholder program in which students studying at institutions of higher education all over the world may gather online to forge ideas and advance projects geared towards sustainability under a framework offered by the United Nations Sustainable Development Programme, UNSDP. So after this very brief start, now I would like to leave the floor to our rector of Bahçeşehir University in Istanbul, to Professor Dr. Şirin Karadeniz, for her opening speech of the Nomad campus of today. Yes, Şirin hocam, floor is yours.
Yes, hocam, thank you very much. I would like to welcome you all to our online opening. To all our partners from Japan, Cyprus, Austria, Spain, and Istanbul too. It's my pleasure to be with you, either it's online or I'm sure we will come together in Istanbul in any time. So I would like to host you at Istanbul at maybe next year or this year, anytime. So this was my dream. My field is educational technology, and I design new educational programs for different fields. When I heard Nomad Campus perspective, I thought that I can make it only with the Faculty of Architecture and with the Faculty of Design. Because if you want to do something new, you need vision, you need creativity, and you need a team to develop a new idea. And I directly called to our dean, Professor Murat Dündar, and I talk about our project. And he always welcomes new ideas, new visions, and he said to me that we can do it and we can design the best one. And also he called you. I'm really happy that you accepted that offer and be the partner of that new program. Actually, this program is the first one in the world, we can say that, because now we are 5 universities with the design faculties, architecture faculty, and we are designing our education program based on UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So what is the best to do that one is our students will come together and exchange their ideas and in multinational, multidisciplinary environment, and they can raise their awareness on global topics. We have been doing these kinds of programs more than 10 years, especially with Women's University, Mukogawa University, but now we are 5 university and designing a new program. And I hope this will help our students have a wonderful line in their CVs when they apply to global firms, because they will have multicultural, multinational teams, and they will understand sustainability topics, and it's really important for all business areas in all the world. And also they will design new projects based on the design thinking. So this is a happy day of being a professor of education, and I would like to thank you all, for all professors, all students, and all people who give their efforts to make this program. And also for the last thing, that I hope you will be with us in Istanbul next time if you have any schedule free. Also, I would like to thank Ergün Hocam. He is the director of our Hybrid Education Center, and his team designed a new educational paradigm for our university. We call it BAU Flexible, Flexibo. We want to integrate flexible learning with our educational programs. And also, Murat Hocam, as always, I would like to thank you on behalf of my students. Thank you very much, Göksun Hocam.
Thank you very much, Shirin Hocam, for explaining the major motivation behind this quite, I think, interesting and intriguing initiative. And we will be continuing with more information and explanation on the content. So now I will be leaving the floor to Murat Hoca, our Dean of Faculty of Architecture and Design in Istanbul BAU. So he will have more, I think, words on the same content. Yes, Murat Hocam, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Dear rectors, representatives of partner universities, distinguished participants, and dear students, on behalf of the steering committee of Nomad Campus organization, it is my privilege to welcome you all in the opening session. The main theme of this first organization is how the cities become more livable. My name is Murat Dündar. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Architecture and Design of Bahçeşehir University in Istanbul, Turkey. Today, we are excited to launch the first of our new initiative, Nomad Campus, which was decided to be launched by our university this year with the aim of seeking solutions to global problems. This organization is the first of its series. Education beyond borders is the main motto of our university. We have always believed that education must go beyond the physical boundaries of university campus area with the organization of extracurricular activities. This event is organized in collaboration between several universities. At this point, I would like to start by expressing our sincere gratitude to Mukogawa Women's University, Japan, Berlin International University of Applied Sciences, Bahçeşehir Cyprus University for their support in the organization of this event. Without their support, this organization could not have been realized. The effort to create a strong awareness about the vital issues of our world, which is growing in violence day by day, basically caused by our greedy and selfish lifestyle, has a critical role for the future of our planet. Regardless of where they live in the global world order, each individual directly or indirectly affects the lives of others and is affected by the results of other people's lives as never before. The concept of nomads, so named to highlight the responsibility of being a transnational citizen, exemplifies an ability to empathize with and adapt to the ways of life and challenges known by different cultures without clinging to a specific geography. This is the vital thrust of the Nomad Campus initiative. We believe that more creative solutions can be developed, that awareness of global problems can be increased, and that standards of professional competence as well as a more urgent sense of responsibility can be disseminated through the integration of different perspectives on common topics related to sustainable development goals. A more livable world is our priority. I strongly believe that this sort of international programs has a significant role in education since participants have an opportunity to expand their worldview. Inclusive and participatory global meeting environments, which allow sharing experiences under different geographical, climatic, economic, and administrative conditions of the world, could only be implemented in a limited number of organizations with serious effort and dedication due to the material and moral burdens brought by the necessity of travel until recently. Today, the advance and spread of modern communication technologies have opened the door to an increase in the scale and frequency of local global collaborations. To this end, Nomad Campus includes student groups and academics from different higher education institutions who will participate in different contexts and at varying scales in order to originate solutions for selected sustainable development topics. The primary purpose of Nomad Campus is for students to come together within the framework outlined by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to exchange ideas in line with their own culture and knowledge and to make academic contributions to the Sustainable Development Goals program by advancing suitable projects. The program also aims to promote a deeper understanding of the centrality of online education in the post-pandemic era, thus contributing to the ability of students from anywhere in the world to congregate in a virtual environment and conduct joint studies. It is certain that this sort of international organizations offer unique opportunities for everyone representing different cultural identities of the world to exchange ideas, initiate collaborative studies, and to develop new strategies for promoting cross-cultural understanding and appreciation for diverse cultures of the world. I would like to thank everyone who contributes to this organization. I also would like to thank the valuable guest speakers who will share their insights on specific topics. Dear students, above all, I really want to thank each one of you in advance for contributing to the success of this organization with your efforts and great motivation to keep working towards your goals in these difficult times. It is really very much appreciated. Undoubtedly, the process will be challenging. However, I believe that when you successfully reach the end of the program, beyond contributing to your academic career, you will have accumulated good memories and new friendships that you will continue for life. I sincerely hope all the participants gain fruitful learning from the activities. Thank you and good luck.
Okay, thank you very much, Murat Hocam, for further explanation. I think we have quite high motivation and the students have very strong reasons to be here. Now we have a short video presentation, about 4 minutes, for a brief explanation on the Nomad campus. And I think Arda will share, and now we will be screening the video.
What is Nomad Campus? Nomad Campus is a multi-stakeholder, multicultural education initiative in which students from various institutions of higher education across the world collaborate online to generate ideas and projects on sustainability as defined by the United Nations Sustainable Development Program. Emphasizing the responsibility of being a global citizen, the concept of Nomad focuses on empathizing with and adapting to the lifestyles and problems of those from different cultures. Nomad Campus, together with student groups and academics from various higher education institutions, aims to harness different perspectives while promoting awareness, creativity, competence, and responsibility on common issues related to UN-defined Sustainable Development Goals. What is the Sustainable Development Goals program? The Sustainable Development Goals are a call to action consisting of 17 universal target items. It sets a roadmap to be completed by 2030 for the eradication of poverty, the protection of our planet, and the promotion of global peace and prosperity. Fundamentals of Nomad Campus. The Nomad Campus program addresses various fundamentals. These are design of innovative solutions to social problems, global cooperation and the sharing of experiences for success, working with multidisciplinary, multinational teams to facilitate the broadest possible scope and understanding, maintaining a process that allows students to enhance their self-awareness for both personal and professional benefit. Goals of Nomad Campus. What are the goals of the Nomad Campus program? To raise awareness of current global problems, identify challenges, and produce innovative solutions. To be mindful of and to understand both user and context, to recognize cultural, geographical, and social diversity. To think beyond geographical, cultural, and social borders. To develop self-awareness, promote communication, and enhance interaction. Aim of the program. The main purpose of the Nomad Campus program is to share ideas and support collaborative work on various projects within the scope of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Along with this, highlighting the salience of online education and its utility in group work is another goal. Learning outcomes of the program. At the end of the program, participants will be able to promote increased competence regarding sustainable development, work towards the realization of sustainable development goals, work collaboratively in multidisciplinary teams with other stakeholders, produce creative solutions by aligning the components of design problem solutions with the requirements of sustainable design, synthesize the contributions of those with different perspectives in multicultural group settings. Program calendar. The program calendar is supported by opening lectures, seminars, guest speakers, studio meetings, workshops, presentation preparations, and final presentations. All details regarding the program schedule are included in the documents. Stakeholders of the program. Nomad Campus is open to the participation of students and academics from universities in different regions of the world. The list of those institutions that have declared their ability to participate in the 2022 program are as follows. BAU, Turkey. BAU Cyprus University, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Berlin University of Applied Sciences, Germany.
Okay, thank you very much, Arda. So now, if you allow me, I would be going through the main features of the program, including its objectives, learning outcomes, contents, and then explain the schedule of the activities. And we will continue with the seminars. Now let me share the screen for the program so everyone can follow. Actually, these were also explained in the video, but let me repeat them because we highly emphasize and we really want to encourage these aims more. So mainly the fundamentals of this program are the design of innovative solutions to social problems, global cooperation and the sharing of experiences for success, working with multidisciplinary, multinational teams to facilitate the broadest possible scope and understanding, and maintaining a process that allows students to enhance their self-awareness for both personal and professional benefits. And the objectives are, again, very briefly, to raise the awareness of current global problems, identify challenges, and produce innovative solutions, to be mindful of and to understand both user and context, to recognize cultural, geographical, and social diversity, to think beyond geographical, cultural, and social borders, to develop self-awareness, promote communication, and enhance interaction. And I will continue with the learning outcomes. It was explained in the video, but let me repeat. And at the end of the program, we hope all the students will be able to promote increased competence regarding sustainable development, work towards the realization of sustainable development targets, work collaboratively in multidisciplinary teams with other stakeholders, produce creative solutions by aligning the components of design problem solutions with the requirements of sustainable design, and synthesize the contributions of those with different perspectives in multicultural group settings. So very briefly about the contents, the project's title, I think as we all know, is the Experimental Design Studies for Sustainable Studies and Communities. The Sustainable Development Goal 11 says sustainable cities and communities aim to make cities and human settlements more inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. In the program, it is mentioned that the world's population is constantly increasing. To accommodate everyone, we need to build modern, sustainable cities. And for all of us to survive and prosper, we need new intelligent urban planning that creates safe, affordable, and resilient cities with green and culturally inspiring living conditions. The communities and cities strive to provide their citizens with a good climate, social climate, and high quality environment. However, in globalized world, with its bewildering variety of different and often contradictory values and the unequal distribution of wealth, it's a major challenge to achieve these goals, and strong collaboration among different disciplines and population is needed for success. And based on the aforementioned facts and vision, the program content of Nomad Campus is focused on experimental design studies on any context, scale, medium, and discipline, and students from various cultural and educational backgrounds under the supervision of instructors with different perspectives are expected to come up with conceptual design proposals that aim to contribute to make our cities more livable and our communities more sustainable. So to meet the aims and objectives of this Nomad Campus, the content will be implemented with the following schedule and program. And dear participants, this schedule will be shared with you till the end of today's event on the chat box. So we had the opening session today, starting at 12. And after I present the program, we will be listening to two very valuable participants, Professor Ebru Canan Sokullu from STIFAL Istanbul. She is the director, about sustainable development goals, starting at 12:30, hopefully. And then we will have another presentation by Gökay Hamdi Şener from BUZEP. Unfortunately, Ergün Bey will not be with us. But before starting to listen to the seminars, let me go through the schedule of the whole program. So on the 29th of June, this Wednesday, we will have the third seminar about urban planning by Maan Çibli and Neslihan Yönet, and on contemporary city dwellers by Belinda Torus. On the 1st of July, on Friday, we will be listening to another seminar, the fifth seminar, about design thinking by Handan Temeltaş. and a sixth seminar about building social sustainability through design by Demet Mutman Uluengin. On the 4th of July, on Monday, we will be announcing the working groups and start of the design studios. And yeah, this is the team, Beril Gök, Gülce Apak, and Zeynep Gül Söhmen. And this is the working titles, How Do Cities Become More Livable, and Create Design Solutions for Everyday Life. And on the same day, we will be having the Digital Design Studio 1. The theme is empathy, and the team organizers are Bengü Uluengin, Berna Yaylalı, and Handan Temeltaş. And on Wednesday, we will have the Digital Design Studio 2. And the team has Berna Yaylalı, Efsun Güney, and Handan Temeltaş. And on the 11th of July, on Monday, we will have the third Digital Design Studio. Again, the team has Berna Yaylalı, Efsun Güney, and Handan Temeltaş. And please read the schedule for further information. I will not be reading the whole text. And on Thursday, to be followed on the 18th of July and 20th of July, we will have a continuous seminar workshop on presentations, on how to present all these ideas and work by Beril Gök, Gülce Apak, and Zeynep Gül Söhmen. And on the 22nd of July, on Friday, the students will be presenting their final products, which will be obviously in group work. And I think it will be the most maybe enjoyable and interesting, one of the most interesting days of the program. I think, yeah, this is about it. So now, let me stop sharing. And if you allow me, I will be leaving the floor to Professor Dr. Ebru Canan Sokullu from SİFAL Istanbul. Floor is yours, Ebru Can.
Thank you very much, Göksun Hocam. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. And good evening. I don't know. I mean, we have a great variety of students, participants from different parts of the world. So I would like to greet you. This is a very nice sunny day in Istanbul, and I share my rector's point here. We would like to meet you also in person here one day very soon. Well, thank you very much, Murat Hocam, for invitation to this very important program. I mean, it's always very exciting to be not always online, but to be with such a great community from different parts of the world. And I congratulate everybody who actually contributes to this program. The students from different parts of the world, I wish all the best luck and success for your program, for your participation to this program. I mean, it's going to be a full, extremely instructive program, and well, you will present your projects. Hopefully each project will contribute to the very idea and the project of sustainable development goals. We have heard some introductory comments and information about sustainability, which is actually one of the most debated concepts in recently across the world. If you turn a TV advertisement in Turkey, in a Turkish TV channel, you see a lot of advertisements that come with the concept of sustainability. So it's, I think, in every part of our lives. And even though it's like one of the most debated concepts, I don't know if we really know much about the technicalities behind the concept. So Murat Hoca had asked me together with Ergun Hocam to talk about the sustainability. And I'm very excited actually to be with you here. I'm the director of Sifal Istanbul, which is actually one of the 25 member institutions of United Nations Training and Research Institute that is based in Geneva. And UNITAR, this agency, United Nations agency, has been working since the 1960s on the very concept of training the future leaders about, to make our world more sustainable. Of course, 1960s were the years in which we were not talking about the concept, but of course the philosophy was with us. And since then, since late 1960s, UNITAR has been working on this concept. And Sifal Istanbul, well, we are hosted by Bahçeşehir University, and we are training various programs to the young people, to the K-12 people, to the leaders, the managers in different sectors, the idea of sustainability. Of course, well, I prepared actually a very brief presentation for you because I would like to talk a little bit more about the details. And if you allow me, I would like to share my that short presentation. Let me find it. Yeah, here it comes. Okay, I think everybody can see it in the presentation, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So basically, like 1960s, 1970s were the years in which, of course, the world had different types of problems. We had a completely different political system in international relations. And while the states were the primary actors who were designing the world politics, world economy, yet we also had a growing and empowering civil society across the world. And one of the, fundamental problems of the communities, individuals, as well as the states and international organizations was actually to live in a better world and to make the world better, not only for our generations, but also for our, the upcoming generations. Of course, this was like an idea, a very primitive idea. Yet coming to the 1970s and 1980s, we had actually operationalized this idea of sustainability. So very briefly, the definition goes, the concept of sustainability is meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So this is like an intergenerational problem, right? What we are talking about. And what we need, today, what our ancestors needed earlier and what your children will need tomorrow will actually be the world where the natural resources will be preserved for, different communities in different parts of the world, regardless of the levels of development. And also, when we talk about the resources, we don't only talk about the natural resources. Of course, we talk about the social resources, our well-being, our mental well-being, our physical well-being, and also resources go along well with the economic resources. So basically, we know that we all need growth. We cannot stop growth, right? But we actually can formalize a more usable, more efficiently usable resources. So this was actually in the very root of the idea of sustainability. Of course, sustainability today is more associated with the environment, with green. While we started talking about not only the green as like environment, climate related issues, but also we now talk about the blue, right? Blue as the oceans, the water. So, these are all about environment, but of course we use the environment, we consume the environment for our social, psychological, economic well-being. So we need to come up with a balance. And that's why we talk about sustainability as a problem of environment, as a problem of social equity and economic development. So please for your program, this particular academic program, and for the rest of your lives, right? Please keep this in mind. Sustainability is not only about the environment, the trees, the birds, the animals, the whatsoever. It's about us. It's about equal and just treatment of communities. It's about, making the growth economic models more, nature friendly, community friendly, and of course, industry friendly. So this is like the root of the problem. Okay, where does it come from? Well, it comes from, in a more operational way, it comes from the 1970s, 1980s. So even though it's like a relatively new idea, it had been with us after the two destructive world wars, the First and the Second World Wars. Well, the humanity destroyed the environment, the great powers destroyed the communities. They destroyed and they consumed irresponsibly certain natural resources. They did two great wars, and in the end of the two great wars, they decided to stop this ongoing, and they decided to bring as a remedy a more peaceful world. And the idea of sustainability is this. Of course, it's, today we associate the concept more with sustainability and efficiency, ecological development, the human centricism, and also leaving the resources to the next generations. So basically, as the concept goes, the definition goes, meeting our own needs, my need, without compromising. Well, I have to survive, right? So I have to make a compromise because I cannot quit living and consuming the resources. But compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So this is the balance, and this is the very idea behind the sustainability. So, of course, as the concept, the Sustainable Development Goals, right? This is the concept that we are more interested in today. It comes with this very famous report. The report is titled as Our Common Future, right? And the Brundtland Commission, that was the commission that had been gathered in 1983 under the leadership of the Norwegian Prime Minister. We see her picture out there. She had been the first female Prime Minister of Norway and head of the Brundtland Commission. The commission prepared a report, Our Common Future, right? And she was also presiding the World Commission on Environment and Development. And the very core of the program of this report, the Our Common Future, that was accepted in 1987, it provisioned that we have to consume the resources, the world resources, on a balanced way, in a way to promote the economic development, economic improvement, ecological improvement, so eco-development, right? And also minimizing to the inequalities, right? So this was like the spirit of the common future. And then after the report that was accepted in 1987, 4 years after the proposal of the report, the report defined sustainable development as a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations. All right, so of course, this was also the report that used for the first time the Sustainable Development Goals. Well, there were different stages in the process, in this long way since 1987, as the United Nations and the world community achieved. So basically, after 1987, in 2005, there was another World Summit, and there the sustainable development idea was precisely defined as a three-pillar thing: economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, and social sustainability. So we cannot be sustainable if we just concentrate on the environment, or if we just concentrate on the economic development. We need to develop ourselves. And actually, I'm very happy to see all the participants here who actually make an effort in these sunny days, right, of summer, working and thinking more on the very problematic of sustainability. So, and then, you know, after 2005, we had in 2015 the Sustainable Development Agenda, the 2030 that you have also seen in the video. So the 2030 Sustainable Development Plan that was accepted at the United Nations with almost every member of the UN, 193 countries. So this is like the utmost representation at the global level. 193 states accepted the Sustainable Development Program, which would be hypothetically, which would be achieved by 2030. So 2030 means 8 years ahead from now, right? So, and since when? Since 2015. So, well, of course, the core was once again reiterated that economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, and social sustainability. So, three main pillars of the Sustainable Development Goals. Well, of course, it is a circular thing, right? Without achieving one of these aspects, one of these pillars, we cannot talk about like a sustainable sustainability program. So that's why we need an integrated approach, a multi-layered approach to achieve these three main themes. Integrated, meaning that the civil society, states, international community, right? Me, myself, you yourself. So we all have to put our efforts in the achievement, in the realization of sustainability. And a multi-layered effort. We need the states, we need the governments.
I'm very sorry for interrupting, but
yes.
Can you start the presentation mode? It is a bit hard to read right now for
the okay, let me. Does that work?
Not yet.
Okay. I don't know if it works because I'm connected not with the application. I'm connected from the web, so it doesn't allow me.
Okay.
So sorry about that.
Okay, the previous slides were with bigger fonts. That was no problem, but this is a bit harder. Okay.
Okay.
So we can.
I can share this. I can share the slides anyways from the chat box. So and that will also help. This is like a very simple presentation. I mean, there is nothing much about it. But, you know, I will keep this slide and then I will move on with this slide. So I think these will be like the last slides that I would like to share with you. But so that's why you're not missing that much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I was talking about the sustainability, the very idea of the sustainability, right? So, well, in 2015, with the Sustainable Development Agenda, well, we had now a roadmap. The roadmap was 17 targets, 17 goals, right? And as like a representation of the three main themes, environment, economy, and society, you see these 17 are like the first four. Let's see, no poverty, no hunger, well-being and education, and then the five, sorry, gender inequality. These are about the society. These are about the individuals. And then comes from 6 to 16. These are about the environment. And 16 and 17 are about the partnerships. So this was just, I was talking about the multi-layer, multi-level governance mode to realize the sustainability idea. So collaboration with the systems at different levels of governance, right? With different institutions. So I'm sure that you will concentrate in this program more on SDG 11, which will be on the cities, the urban development, sustainable city, the concept of this. But we will learn that without realizing the other 16, it will be extremely difficult to realize SDG 11. So this is like why we need an integrated approach. We need an integrated approach to achieve because we are too many and the resources are very few. So we have to solve this puzzle. I mean, in the traditional, fundamentals of economy classes, we're teaching us that the resources are very few and the demands are very high. This is the puzzle that the Sustainable Development Goals are trying to solve. So, okay, let's start very briefly for the sake of also using the time efficiently. I would like to give like some figures about these each and every SDG, right? And then I don't want to make you scared. I want to make you more concerned, right? Without any pessimism, but with more motivation to think like how we can contribute. So we don't have to like think about the entire world. Please take these, from now on, what I will be briefly teaching to you. Please take these as like humble suggestions about how each and every individual can take care of. All right. So the first one, no poverty. I myself, I will not be able to resolve this problem of poverty, right? I mean, neither you. So, but we know that there are statistics that tell us that today, almost 10% of the global population live beneath the poverty line. So 10%, right? So 800 million. So something like that is living under poverty, extreme poverty. And we need $175 billion to overcome annually, to overcome the poverty. Well, it may sound like a gigantic budget, right? But we also know that this is $175 billion is something that is less than 1% of the annual wealth of the world's richest countries. So it's not that a big deal, right? So who are the poorest? Okay, whose poverty will be overcome? Of course, the 10% of the global community. So these are the poor people. These are the vulnerable societies, maybe refugees, maybe the asylum seekers, maybe the people that flee away conflicts and wars and so forth and so on. Basically, without any gender variation, these are the poor people that we're talking about with SDG 1. So the target is to minimize the poverty at the 50% level. When? By 2030, right? And also, ending poverty is about improved social security systems, improved welfare programs, improved housing. Poverty comes with people living in shanty towns, right? So the shanty towns is exploding across the world. And these are the places with no sanitation, with no clean water, where anger is like exploding as well among the young generations primarily. The criminal rates are increasing. So poverty is about this. And we have to think about poverty in a broader picture. And there are 7 specific steps where we can actually, fight against. For instance, the housing, the quality housing. I'm not talking about the mansions. I'm talking about the quality housing with clean water and soap. That's it. All right. So the second problem comes with hunger. Well, we all know that when our neighbor is hungry, we cannot sleep that night. This is like what our ancestors taught us, right? I'm sure that there are different proverbs across the world in different cultures for this. So just like the 10% of the global community being poor, the 10%, almost 11% of the global community is hungry. So basically, this particular SDG targets to feed the people with the minimal healthy food, right? So we're not talking about great parties or whatsoever, like the minimal nutritive food we're talking about. So, and this comes along with the better quality agricultural products. So basically, this also needs the improvement of the countryside, where people are more involved in artisan works, agricultural production. So we have to go back to the fields, to the lands. And of course, we know that the global pandemics exacerbated the world hunger, right? And it will worsen. Its impact, its effects will be continuing over the upcoming 11 years about malnutrition. That is very scary. So malnutrition, quality food, and sufficient amount of food. Well, if you remember, I started with like our well-being. There are specific indices that are declared, released annually. For instance, the index of happiness. And out of 193 countries, I advise each and every student here to Google it, the World Happiness Index, and to see where your country stands, and so how happy your community is, right? So happiness is not about only, being in economic better conditions. It's about the mental health. It's about the physical health. It's about psychology, right? So, and also, I'm not talking about going for yoga classes. Now, let's look at the figures. Every day, 16,000 students, 16,000 children are dying for diseases which can be cured every day, right? So, and the remedy economic package is $1 billion budget annually. It's not such an expensive thing. So if you spend $1 billion as a global community more annually on healthcare systems, then you will rescue 1 million children, right? And also minimizing the mothers' deaths. Fighting against pandemics, epidemics. We should not forget how COVID-19 shattered our communities. We have to draw lessons out of that. Of course, we don't want to live in an entire catastrophe in our lives, but we can draw lessons. And also chemicals. Cleansing from chemicals, our environment is essential, right? So this is broadly about the well-beings, good health. Okay, good health. So now poverty, hunger, health. What about our mental well-being? It's not only about mental disorder. Human beings, right? Communities need to evolve, and the bigger part of the evolution comes with the education. We're not talking about like education at the PhD level. If you look at the statistics, they are fairly scary, right? 262 million children at the elementary school level is without schools across the world. And 617 million children are not able to solve a basic math problem. They don't have the skills. They don't have the skills to read a single line. At the age of schooling, I'm talking about. And if you remember during the pandemic, in 144 countries, the education stopped. When the schools were shut down, maybe the one and only meal that the school kids could have an access in their days, in their daily lives, were the meal that was distributed at the school, and they were short of that meal. It was not only education, it was not only the classes, it is also the meal that they were served, right? So integrated approach. All right, so what does this fourth SDG tell us? We need quality education. And for quality education, the criteria are very simple. Each girl and boy students need to be given free of charge, adequate and quality education across the world. That's it, at the elementary school level. And so there are more indicators to achieve this target, this goal. There are 10 indicators that were assigned by the United Nations as a homework to each and every member state, right? So, well, of course, COVID-19 made things even worse. So now the targets to be achieved at 2030 are getting harder and harder. Okay, so each female and male student, children. So what does this tell us? We are hearing more and more about the problems, violence against women, against children in different parts of the world, against the transgender communities. This also goes along with the levels of tolerance in the societies. And this is an alarming problem across the world. During the pandemic, like even in the most developed countries in the world, like in Great Britain, the violence against women during the lockdowns were tripled. So I can't imagine in the more underdeveloped part. So gender inequality, right? Or gender equality, let's put in a positive way, right? So almost 1/3 of the developing part of the world, and the developing or underdeveloped part of the world is like way larger than the developed part of the world. So 1/3 of the underdeveloped part of the world is suffering from gender inequality. So this is about empowering not only the girls, but also the boys, so the entire society, right? So, well, gender equality, achieving gender equality, empowering all women and girls, of course, it is actually one of the mottos of almost all institutions now across the world. And, well, it comes with an education not only at schools, but also within the families. So this is like a lifelong problem that we have to achieve. So these are the 5 main social indicators that we consider as the first 5 most important sustainability problems about the well-being of the community, the empowerment of the communities. So I think these are things that we can start teaching at home. Well, if you go back to your home countries, you can actually talk to your grandparents, talk to your neighbors, your fellows, and you can tell why these are important, why your effort can make a change. So let's move on with the environment. Well, environment comes with 6, SDG 6. So the SDG 6 is about clean water and sanitation. So we need clean water, we need soap. This is something that we had figured out during the pandemic. Do you know what? Every day, almost 1,000 kids lose their lives because of dirty water. And half of the entire global population lives at least once in a month the water shortages, without water, in Istanbul, in big cities in different parts of the world. We have this problem, right? And do you know what? Between 1975 and 2020, we had lost 35% of world's water resources. Now it's scary, isn't it? And it's even scarier because it is 3 times higher than the loss of forests across the world, right? And that's why we have to, for instance, when you brush your teeth 3 times a day, and if you let the water flow, do you know you waste 50 liters of water every day for 3 times of, toothbrush. So I think this is something we can take an individual action against that. Okay, clean energy, accessible clean energy. right? Of course, it's very nice to stay at your homes during winter, you know, in a warm house where you use the electricity, where you're terribly well connected to internet. Well, for an access to your job, it's convenient to take your car and drive. These are all energy resources that you're consuming. Of course, we're not talking about, okay, stop and don't waste any energy. It's not possible, but we can minimize it, right? Of course, energy is not only essential for us, it's essential for the industry. SDG 8, good jobs and economic growth. We all deserve, you young people, you all deserve good jobs. Once you graduate from university, this is your prospect for future, isn't it? You want to find the job of your life. So we're talking about decent work, decent salaries, decent working conditions. We have international organizations for this. We have the states, the governments who take care about our social well-being, our, labor standards. And yet, we also look at the global unemployment rates, and we see almost 500,000 people out of 1 billion, so half of the global community, right, is looking for a job and not finding the appropriate job for them. And unfortunately for the young people between the age of 19 and 20, for the 20% of the global youth population, there is no job. So no job, no education. And this is a very scary picture, isn't it? So what should be done under the commands of the SDG 8? The governments, the industries need to create more jobs to maximize the labor efficiency, human capital efficiency, and of course, to provide the just work with the just salaries. Well, okay, 9. Well, it's about the industry. Of course, industry is the largest consumer of all the energy resources, all the resources, human capital, water, all the fossil fuels and so forth and so on. Okay, so industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Well, we know that the pandemic stopped the global growth at a 10% level, so suspension of growth. Well, we could survive with this. We are not talking about stopping the growth. We're talking about consuming less and more efficiently. This is the spirit of the Sustainable Development Goal. Consume energy less, consume your well-being less, and use it more efficiently. So, well, SDG 10, inequalities, reduced inequalities. We know that across the world, in terms of the levels of economic development, in terms of the happiness scores, in terms of like almost all indicators, there is a great divide in the world, in your country, in your family. So SDG 10 is to realize overcoming these inequalities. Of course, we are not talking about the inequalities at home. It's a more macro thing. So we need more functioning social policies, fiscal policies from the government sides. We need better migration policies, for instance. We need less populism. We need less polarization. And these are the things that the political actors can take care of. SDG 11, I think this is something that you know much better than I do, since you're attending this program, and you will learn more things about SDG 11. Sustainable cities and communities. Well, you can build super fantastic buildings, but you need the communities in it. You need the urban modernization. Modernization is about culture, is about art, is about, better living conditions. So we are talking about green cities, for instance, right? So we know that more than half of the global population is living in the city centers. And The other half is living in the countryside or even in the shanty towns. So today, more than 3 billion people are living in the shanty towns, right? So, and by 2050, the projections say that 6.5 billion people will live in the city centers, in mega cities, right? And that's why we have to make the cities more sustainable to fight with this trend, right? So, of course, I'm sure that your projects will contribute to the resolution, to the solution of this problem. Well, as I told you, we cannot stop growth, but we can control our consumption. So SDG 12 is about responsible consumption and responsible production. So we talked about the production, but how about consumption? Now, if we stop the time for 1 minute, and if I start counting until 60, 1 million plastic bottle will be sold. 1 million plastic bottle every minute across the world is bought by a consumer. Every minute. So that is a scary way of consumption. And every year across the world, 5 trillion single-use plastic bags are thrown to the rubbish bins. 5 trillion. You make the math. This is about, and we can do it at home, right? We can contribute to the realization of SDG 12. Responsible waste management. I have a son who's 10 years old, and he is a great fanatic of this SDG 12. He sometimes reminds us, you don't do the recycling, throw the plastic bottle to the plastic bin. So this is something we can start at our homes, and I'm sure that you will, think about it. 13, so let's come more to the environment. The second pillar, right? The environmental sustainability. Climate action. I think we all have to have the picture of Greta somewhere in our house, just to remind us all the time that there is an alarm bell with the climate action, right? So, well, there are like a lot of, work, programs, summits across the world are being organized. Almost every company, industry, institution has a climate action plan. As I told you, when you turn the TV on, you come across with even a banking advertisement, which reminds you of the climate action. So, well, we need an emergency here with the climate action. So SDG 13, the climate action, is reminding us that we have a climate crisis. The rising greenhouse emissions are alarming. We need a way increasing global climate finance, right? At the global level. And you can start with closing your window when you turn the AC on. That's it. Either the window or the air conditioning, not both. This is about the global action. So what about the SDG 14? I told about the green thing, and we have a concept for that. We talk a lot about the green, and we have the greenwashing. Like we just, made the concept shallow, but green is essential. And yet, SDG 14, water, life below the water. So this comes along with the waste. We all love swimming, right? We love swimming in blue and clean water. And we have to make it clean. This is our responsibility. All right, we need to clean the sea, the rivers, lakes, oceans. We have to keep the biodiversity under the water, right? And of course, one of the major problems about the life beneath the water is, again, global warming. Well, we enjoy swimming in the warm water, isn't it? But that comes with a price. So we need to conserve and sustainably use the water. So this is 18, this is the SDG 14, sorry. Well, 15. Well, okay, water is essential, but is the land. So in the last 20 years, we made the 20% of the land unusable. We made it concrete. Every day, almost every day across the Mediterranean basin, during the summer seasons, we unfortunately witness a lot of, fires in the forests. It's not only about the trees that are burning, it's about the destruction of the biodiversity. And you know what? In the last 5 years, on the land, the biodiversity, the major biodiversity issues, items are just frozen. They're dying, and we have to make it more sustainable. And this comes with the sustainable forest management. This comes with fighting against desertification, right? And of course, well, more than a quarter of the species in the last 15 years, they are lost. We lost them. In 2005, I was in the States, and in my university at that time, Ohio State University, there was America's largest research center on bees. You know, the animal bee? Bzz. And there were research groups that were making a lot of research, doing a lot of research on how to protect the bee types, like the bee production. We need even the mosquitoes for this diversity. Well, okay, who is this V? I'm talking about all these V. 16 and 17 has an answer for the V question. Well, I need more integrative policies to realize all these SDGs at the local level. We need the capacity building at the local level, at the national level. This is to start with. We need institutions for that. And we also need democracies, transparent decision making. Member states are now preparing their transcripts, annual reports about how far they have achieved or not achieved the SDGs. There's more and more pressure from bottom up, sorry, and from top down to the institutions to adjust themselves to the realization of the SDGs. All right, so SDG 16 talks about peace, justice, and institutions. Even a policy related to gun control, a policy that would further gender equality in the classroom, right? Protecting children's lives. These are all about the institutions. And we need, and you can do that as the young generation. You can empower institutions. You can demand for more democracies if it is not working very well, right? And last one, and I should stop, I think, in 2 minutes for the sake of the time that is allocated to me. The last one is about partnerships. Okay, this is the V. We cannot do it alone. I cannot do it alone. I cannot achieve the 2030 target if I individually have a 2030 target, like to realize the SDGs. So partnerships for the goals. We need to increase the financial tools. We need to increase the technology transfer, together with the industry, together with the sector, together with the educational institutions, together with the governments, local level, NGOs, multinational corporations, all together. And I think you can start achieving the partnership for the goals and all these SDGs today, after this class, after this program, when you go back home and when you tell a little bit about what you learned here. Maybe the 1 million plastic bags, maybe the 10% living under poverty. But I think we have the power as the individuals to achieve. I'm not talking about the states. We have the power as individuals to achieve the SDGs. I want to thank everyone. I mean, this is a very descriptive thing. And for further information, you can go to the United Nations website, United Nations SDG SUN website. There's like a huge documentation about the SDGs, the history, the tools, all the mechanisms. And I think if I create a little bit of awareness in this program, I'll be very happy. And again, once again, thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much, Ebru Hocam. By the way, I'm hearing my echo. I think you provided quite a broad frame on the concept of sustainability and how designers may act in relation to maybe the city context, city scale, or wider or narrower scales. These were all very important, and I think we are living through it, through experiencing. So maybe I would like, I can turn to the audience whether they have questions regarding your presentation. Yeah, dear participants, do you have any questions? Would you like to or make any comment? Or not, we can give a break for before the next seminar. Okay, I'm checking the text box, but okay, I don't see any comments. Okay, thank you very much again. Sorry. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, yeah. Only comment, there's no real question behind that. Thanks for the illustrated presentation about the Sustainable Development Goals. I think the cornerstone of the SDGs is the integration. They are integrated, they are interconnected. So focusing on one of them is not the appropriate solution. So we have to Mrs. Sokol talk about the integrated policy at the local level. Yeah, I think in our presentation in 2 days we will explain these sustainability on the spatial level, but I have only a comment about equalities and equalities, because sometimes equalities is not enough to reduce the inequality. So maybe we have to focus on the equity more on the equality. In some of the cases, most of the cases might be true and okay, but in some cases equity is more appropriate than equality. Like if I'm extrapolating this to the spatial level, and the poverty, okay, it has a socio-economic, it has a socio-cultural, socio-economic connotations, but it also has a special replication, because we are talking about the urban poor, which is really a global phenomena, and more than 50% of the population in the global centers worldwide are living in these urban pools. Okay, those are my comments. Thank you so much for this illustrated presentation.
Okay, thank you very much for the contribution, Maan Hocam. So if there are no other remarks, I think we can give a short break till 1:30 for the second seminar on distance learning. So I think we will pause right now. We can all turn off our cameras and mute our computers and be back at 1:30, right, Elif Hocam? Okay. Okay, let's meet back at 1:30, dear participants. Hello all, and I think it is time to start. We have a packed schedule. So according to our schedule, we will be now hearing Gökay Hamdi Şenal from BUZEP, from our Center of Distance Learning, a seminar about distance or online education possibilities. Thank you very much, Gökay Bey, for being with us today. So I'm leaving the
pleasure
floor.
is mine.
Thank you. The floor is yours. We are listening to you.
Thank you very much. I would like to welcome you all and greetings to all of you. Today, I'm going to talk more about the technical part. And today we are going to discuss Microsoft Teams, the basics, and I'm going to talk about Miro, again, an introduction to Miro. How can we use it in our courses? So I would like to share my screen. If you please excuse me. Now I think you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so as you can see, there are two screens at the moment. On the left-hand side, you would see Microsoft Teams desktop application. And on the right-hand side, you would see the web version. So again, on the left, this is the teacher screen. On the right, you would see a student's screen. Very similar, actually. There are some basics that we can see. As you can see, there are logos on the left-hand side. Teachers have more, and at the right-hand side, students have less. And I would like to start with the settings part on Teams. What can you do to use the benefits of Microsoft Teams? I'm just going to go over there. And here you would see yourself on the right-hand side at the top corner. So here you can sign in and sign out to Microsoft Teams. And next to it, you would see ellipses, 3 dots. When you click on this dot, you would see the settings part. And again, you would see check for updates part. So if you wanted to be up to date on Microsoft Teams, you can always choose that option. Today, I'm going to talk about the settings. So here we have the settings page, and you can see the general part. We have different themes, default and dark. And also we have the layout part, which is important because, let me just close it. This is the first version of the layout. If you want, you can make it into a list by just coming in here and choosing the list. So as you can see, it is now different than the other parts. Okay, let's go back to the settings part. The most important thing is that when you're having a meeting over there, you need to make sure that your devices are working properly. So how can we check that? Again, on the left-hand side, you will see a tab, devices, named as devices. So when you go there, you would see your cameras and microphones and their options. So as you can see your speakers. If you have connected a different device, you would also see that in here. Maybe earphones might appear here if you're using one. And also you would see your microphone, which microphone you're using. And you can make a test call. When you click this button, make a test call, you're going to be directed to a meeting, which is about 30 seconds long. And you're going to test yourself by opening your microphone and camera. The system would take the recording and play it back to you so that you can make sure that your microphone and camera are working properly. And when we go back to general part, there are some main options about the application, but one of the most important thing is that in here, you can choose your language. You can download the Microsoft Teams app just by typing Microsoft Teams on Google so that you can find it on their website. And when you download and install it, you can access all these settings. So I'm going to close the settings part, and now I'm going to move back to the web part. So in here, we have the students part. Again, here, this page, this dashboard is where you would see your courses. I have, as a student, 2 courses. The first one is Toronto sample course, and the second one is the training one that I have created for today. And again, on the left-hand side, you would see the activities. Activities means that all the notifications, all the feeds that you're getting, for example, has someone posted something on a course, or has anyone commented on the subject that you have shared with your course, with your classmates. And also all the messages, all the notifications will appear here on feed. And next to it, we have chat, where you can see your chat history with the people that you're talking to, or there might be some groups that you're a member of. So if you wanted to send a message to a person on Microsoft Teams, how do we do that? Which is very simple. I'm just going to show you. You see this little logo over there. It says new chat. So if I click that, it will open this page where you can start a new conversation. You just type in and then choose and start to write. Okay. Greetings, Adam. So this is how you can start a new chat, but you can start a group conversation either. How can we do that? Again, we click on here and type in the names. I'm going to use Adam again and my own admin account, the other account that I'm going to use. So if you choose more than one person, it could be 40, 50, 2 or 3, you could start a group conversation by just typing something again in here. So this is where you can see the messages that you have received, or if you're meaning to send a message to someone, you can just check in here and do that. And we have the calendar option, again on the left-hand side. This calendar shows you if you have courses, if you have meetings, if you have project meetings. So this is where you can see all the things that are going on in Microsoft Teams. If someone sends you an invitation, this would also appear in here. As you can see, on Madness Day, I had a course called CLT 203, and it got canceled. So I see that information and all the meetings that I have under here on the calendar. Or if you are meaning to create a project group and you are going to meet, how can you create a meeting where you can share some ideas on Microsoft Teams? Which is very simple. You can either use, when you take a look at the right-hand corner, Meet Now to create a meeting right away, or you can create a new meeting for later and send invitations to your friends or your colleagues or to your teachers. You just got to add a title, okay? For example, Sustainable Development Goals, and you can just type in the email addresses over here. Since this is not teacher's account, I don't have access over here. You don't have permission to create private meetings, but you would have that option so that you can create your own meetings. Again, you choose the date and time, and then when you click save, it would appear on your calendar also the ones that you have shared it with by using their email addresses. I'm gonna close and discard this. So again, the Teams part. So this is where you would have your trainings and your courses. Let's visit one of them. BOGO training page. As you can see, this is the opening page of BOGO course or training. We are in general page at the moment. In general page, you would see all the updates, all the changes that has happened in this course. For example, I have recently added Miro in here to this course, and you can see it in the tab, of course, all here. So we have posts, we have files. Files is the place where you have all of your documents. For example, as an example in here, we have the final, midterm, and syllabus examples. So in your course, you would have different documents that you're going to use in here. Either your teachers can add some documents in here, or yourself, you can add some files over here so that you use collaboratively with your friends and teachers. When I go back here to the general page, you would see the other tab, Miro tab. So when I click that, you would see the Miro opening up in here. We are going to move on to this one. But before that, I would like to show you how you can open a Miro account. I would just type in here, and yes. Okay, so we have Miro here. So in order to contribute to Miro, we need to have an account. So how can I do that? I just go miro.com, and then I just click on sign up for free over there. You can use your email address and create a password, and then you agree to the terms, and you can get started and use it in your Microsoft Teams in this account. When you create this account, you would see a page like this. Give me a second, please. So this is the page that I have on Miro. What is Miro? Miro is a digital whiteboard that we can use in our courses collaboratively. So if you have your students and yourself in a course and you would like to work on same document, and you would like to take notes, you would like to share some PDFs, you would like to share some PNGs and project files, and you would like to create mind maps and stuff, you can all do that in here, Miro. So what options do we have? As you can see on the left, we have these choices. What are these choices? This is how I can move this part, this map. And also we have different options. As you can see, this is the sticky note part. So what are sticky notes? Sticky notes that you can just use to take notes. For example, notes over here. The good part is that, as you can see, I have changed it over here, but you would see it also here. For example, let me put it this way and put that way. So you would see it exactly what I mean. So at the right-hand side, you would see the student screen. This is the student screen. And this is my screen on left, so which is the teacher's screen. So if I make any changes over there in my Miro, my students would be able to see it immediately. So this app allows us to use pencils and make some drawings. For example, if you have this picture over there, you can just create, for example, click on the pen over there and choose the pen and use your pen to just maintain the course. So I have different screens over there. For example, you can share your slides also in here. If you share your slides, you can make changes just right on them. So, for example, I have shared this figure and we are studying on this figure with my students. So I can take some notes, I can make some changes. For example, if I click on this little dot over here on the left comment part, and I would like to say something and leave a comment over here, I just click on it and use @mention. If I have 30 students and I would like to send this message to a specific person, I just use @ and then write down their names, and then I type in what I mean. I will give you feedback on that. What's this? It is seen, and as you can see, it is now connected to here, where I mean, where I'm putting this information into. And as you can see on here, it is now can be seen by here by the student. When I click on it, I can see that my teacher has given me a feedback regarding something on the page. So it is a very good application where we can use collaboratively. So I'm going to go back to the main page again. What else do we have? Miro. So we can add some shapes. For example, I'm going to use this one. Okay, so I can type in it or make some changes. For example, I can divide it into 2. I can take notes over there. And these are live streams that are seen by my student. But what if I'm looking for something more professional without just drawing it? How can I do that? I can just come over here to this little arrows and see we have different templates. We have different mind map tools. We have different sticky notes. For example, if I'm meaning to share some tables, I can just click on the table and just put it over here, for example. How many do I want? Yes, I want this one to put here. So as you can see, now I have a page where I have some table. So when I click on that, I would see the options in everywhere. So I can automate the cell size or manually. I can use different fonts and I can just write into it. So I can zoom in or add row or add columns and make it small or big. I can also zoom in to every part and I can use this diagram or table in my courses according to my needs. So it is very useful to have such options on Miro. This is what makes this difference from other whiteboard tools. The options and their benefits, if I may say. So again, we have this upload option. So if you're using different PDF files, Word files, or PNGs or JPEGs, so you can all upload them in here. You can choose via URL from the internet or using your own device. So if I go to desktop and choose this Sustainable Development Goals and open it, as you can see, it is now placed in Miro so that you can use it. And for example, if I don't need that one, I can just delete it and put it over here. And I can then zoom in. So I want my students to draw some arrows here and name the logos that I have. For example, just like using this one, they can just write down the names or the positive sides, negative sides, and all the things that they can comment on in here via using Miro in this case. So let's say that we have studied on this, and this is our now map. So we need that. How can we download it to our computer and use it? So you see, this is an export button next to Miro, Baugo, and the settings part. When I click on export button, it wants me to sign up. So if you do not sign up into this program, you would not be able to download this into your computer. When you sign up, you will just click on export and it will be automatically downloaded to your computer so that you can see it as a file in your computer. Other than that, we can add some frames in here. This 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are frames that I used for this. So what are frames? Let me just go back in here and use frames. So as you can see, we have pages that we can just put in here. For example, an A4 page, I can just put in here so that I can put different stuff in it. For example, I'm going to start using this by taking notes, okay? And I'm gonna use this picture next to it so that I can take notes over there. And then again, I'm going to use this chart. And again, I'm going to use a different note next to it so that I can see the differences. And I have this PDF over there. As you can see, I can change the pages. So I'm gonna need this page, table of contents over here. I'm just gonna put it over there. And now I need to write down some stuff in it. Okay, I'm gonna choose my pen and write down, please take a look at this document. Share your ideas. And so this A4 page in Miro, in this collaborative space, there's a different frame that I can work into. So maybe I can do some general and basic things in here in the middle, but then when I'm grouping people, I can create different frames and I can attach some different students to every frame or each frame so that they can work together. And then we have a brainstorming session and we can use it over here on Miro. And of course, at the right-hand side, we have reactions. If you want to praise someone, just like we have in Teams, for example, after a great presentation, we just use clapping and stuff. So you can motivate your students by using these options, this gamification options as well. So let me just go back on here and let me check. Yes, there is also mapping options, as you can find in here. You can either do this mapping options by yourself, just like I did in here in the first part, but you can also use the previously added versions, which can be found in here. Okay, for example, let me choose different diagramming options. When I click on diagramming, as you can see, the options came up so that I can use and apply all these options. For example, this guy over here, just like I can create my own shapes. And for more shapes, you can just click in here. And again, if you're looking for something different, for example, charts, you can click on the charts and choose different charts. And also mind maps. When you click on mind maps, there could be different mind maps that we can create. Just put it in over here. And you can add more and you can connect it to each other. Okay. So this is how we can create different paths so that we can choose to add some different nodes on the way. So this is the first part. This is where we started. This is the negative part and the positive part. So I can add different options to maintain the road, the path that I'm taking. And I can use always the sticky notes to help the guide students into this mind map by creating our own. So up until now, do you have any questions regarding the things that I'm saying? Let me just go back to the meeting real quick.
Yes, dear participants, are there any questions? I think it may be a bit early for the participants to raise questions, yeah. But since these will be recorded, you always have the chance to listen to the recorded information. And maybe you can share an address with us so that maybe if they cannot find the answers here,
yes,
they can
I'm just going to put in my email address to the chat right now. I'm typing it. You can always send me an email regarding the subjects that are that you're having a problem with, so that I can help you. I can share some screenshots with you and guide you through how you can add stuff and remove stuff and use the Web 2.0 tools on Microsoft Teams. And yeah, I'm always here to help you.
Thank you very much, Gökay Bey.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure.
I think this is it, right? We are finished.
Yeah.
Okay, with the content. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, do you have any instant questions, response right now based on this presentation about the technical features of how to use MS Teams or Miro? If not, as we just said, you can always listen to the recordings and also ask to Gökay Bey by writing an email. Okay, I think, thank you very much again for having the time. I think we are done with our schedule for today. I hope we made a good, fresh start to maybe bring alternative perspectives on this quite broad problem with, I don't know, different views from different parts of the world, as our participants are coming from different parts of the world. We are really excited to start this project, to be the host of this program. Yeah, any final remarks, contributions? Murat Hocam, any recommendations to students, maybe to participants?
Yeah, I would like to thank all for being here. This is, as you said, a fresh start. We will have more times to see each other. We will have time to talk more about the details of the topics in the coming sessions. Thank you all, and keep in touch, please. When we finish our seminars, you know, in the first week, we will have 6 seminars in total. Today, we have completed 2 of them, and there are 4 more seminars. Please follow the seminars in order to create a kind of infrastructure for the upcoming gatherings. So from the next week, Monday onward, we will have a chance to talk more about the things that we have heard within this week. So please keep in touch and take care of yourself. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much again for the final remark. I see no more questions, so I think we can finish for today. So I think all the participants will be informed about the program and the next meeting details. So please follow up the announcements, dear participants. And thank you very much for being with us today, to all the presenters, contributors, listeners. I hope we really will enjoy being together on this online platform and maybe stimulate each other.
Thank you Göksun Hocam also. Thank you for
Thank you.
moderating us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Göksun Hocam.
Thank you also for the invitation.
Thank
So-
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.